Hello. Well, it has been a while, friends. Thank you so much for joining me here on Merlin's Mountain today. I'm having a great day. Thanks. Hope you guys are too. I really do. I had a funny couple of weeks. Yeah, things were pretty good, and I was managing to upload every day, and then we just like had another heat wave. And every time we get a heat wave, my internet just goes off. It's really hopeless. And sometimes it comes on in the middle of the night, but I don't do my best readings then. I really don't. In this video, we're going to be using, let's show you the box, we're going to be using the Muse Tarot again. This was very popular last time I used it. I think it's going to become a new favourite on the channel, actually. It's certainly a new favourite in my head. I really enjoy using it, and I love the images. So that's right, we've had a good shuffle there. Let's take 5 off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, put the rest somewhere they won't fall on the floor or cause any trouble. And let's fan them out and see what we've got. Okay, so it's kind of a pick a card reading. I say kind of a pick a card reading because it's entirely up to you whether you pick all 5 cards or choose some for yourself. But here we've got card 1, we've got card 2, card 3, card 4 and card 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take your pick, friends. It's important to do it before I start turning them over, for obvious reasons, I guess. But trust your inner psychic and trust your spirit guides to lead you towards the card that's best for you. Okay, and we'll turn over the very first card. Here we go. And it is the Queen of Emotions. There she is. Amazing character. Very powerful energy with the Queen of Emotions. She's essentially the Queen of Cups, really. She connects to all things. I guess all the queens do in one way or another, but she is very comprehensively connected to all things that flow, you know. And this is about the flow in your own life, I guess. It's all about the flow of the world as well. But, you know, we're all flowing. It's all one flow, basically. People talk about going with the flow. There's not a lot of point in going against the flow. There really isn't. But take a close look there. Love is what this card's about. Emotional intuition as well. And just intelligence, being creative. You know, that's how you establish your own flow in a positive way. And when you're at your most creative and you've got love in mind and you're actually focused on that rather lofty, rather wonderful ideal of love, then your flow is going to mingle with the flow of the world rather well. Because when you're in a state of love, you've got the whole universe in agreement with you and in sync with you, because it is all about love. It is all about light. I know this world very often doesn't seem to be anything like that way, but it really is. That's what it's all about. The reason we have such craziness in our world is, you know, it's there to be healed, basically. This is something a lot of the paranormal channels, I think, fail to understand, you know, and a lot of paranormal investigators, really. When you come across something that seems like a very dark entity, then that darkness has come forward to be healed, whether it says so or not. So you need to be in that sort of state of healing, in that state of love, and that's what card number 1 is really telling you. This is kind of all your emotions here, and they all need to come into alignment so that everything you do or say, or what, you know, words you speak, even just your breaths, really are actually in sync and in rhythm with your own feelings. In other words, I'll say it again, in sync, in keeping with the whole flow of the universe. So Queen of Emotions is card number 1. Let's put her to one side for a moment and move on to card number 2. Oh, here we go. This is the 5 of Materials. The 5 of Materials. The materials really represent the pentacles. That's what the suit of materials in the Muse Tarot is all about. So essentially, friends, if you pick this one, you've sort of drawn the 5 of Pentacles. You've just drawn a rather different, rather more upbeat, rather more artsy and rather more creative version of it, which is no bad thing. But the message is essentially the same, you know. Here is, the light does get in the way, doesn't it? But there you can see the Muse lying dangerously close, really, to the edge of a kind of precipice. Get my words right. And the patterns in the sort of mid, not the foreground, not the back, the mid area of the card. I don't know what there's probably a name for it. Vicky Loper, you'd know this being an artist. But anyway, they're in the middle. Those patterns represent gates, really. And although the gates seem closed, they do kind of flow in through the great arch with the 5 circles, the 5 pentacles represented above it. And so there's reassurance here that times might be hard, there might be more hardship to come, and it's just not time yet to step into the great hall where everything is kind of abundance and joy. But that time will come. That's the message of this card. That time will actually come to you. Hardships, worries about things. Particularly, I think this is really a root chakra card. This one always makes me think of the root chakra, the 5 of Pentacles, because it's those worries, it's those concerns that you just need to give to the light as much as anything to really make a difference. But that difference is going to happen sooner or later. All you can do is speed it up by trying to be at one with the hardships, at one with the troubles, the problems that are coming upon you at the moment. And sooner or later, you will actually be allowed in. So even though this is a rather difficult card and, speaks of almost a sense of inner tragedy, I suppose, in lots of ways, it's incredibly positive, really, because it is a Pentacles card. It is the path to abundance. And abundance, I guess, is what we're all seeking. So, card number 2 there. What have we got for card number 3? Well, card number 3, if you picked all 5, of course, is what it all pivots on. Okay, you could visualize this almost as a horseshoe, but it's your interpretation that counts. That's always how it goes with Merlin's Mountains readings, because Merlin, as a great magician, was really all about letting you know that the magician in you is also equally great and can do great things. It's not that we aren't capable of being great magicians. It's just that so many of us don't really ever get to live that out and actually feel it happening for a real thing in our lives. So anyway, without further ado, here is card number 3, the central card of the reading. So once again, we're in the Suit of Pentacles, and we've just gone one little step back here in terms of the numerology of it. But this is telling us some more about the whole journey, and it's telling us some more about the 5 of Pentacles that we just had. This is what you can fall back on, okay, in the time when you can't actually get into that great hall of abundance, when things aren't looking so good. What you really need is a kind of a secret stash. And she's got one here. She's looking down at the camel. She's feeling at one with the camel, really, because the camel has that hump full of water, which is going to save the camel's life and get the camel through times of hardship. And here she's got rosebuds. Let me see. Yeah, she's kind of, it just doesn't show on the camera as well as I would like it to. But a leaf has fallen off one of those rose petal flower things that she's got there. I say things, I mean it's just wonderful the way this deck is put together, but nothing is entirely normal in this whole deck. Hope you can actually see this and bring it back a bit. Maybe even if I put it on that side, maybe that would help. I'll sort this studio lighting thing out one of these fine days. I really will. But basically, this is where you've got more resources than you think you have, friends. And if you drew this card, that's the way to be looking. You might not have deliberately put by a secret stash, but you'll have your ways of survival. Things that you know, things that are special to you, lessons you've learned in the past that other people don't necessarily know about. In other words, you do have abundance. You do actually have some riches of your own. And those are the things to draw on. We're always trying to move forward. And in the world today, we're under a lot of pressure to keep moving forward. Being okay isn't enough for a great many people anymore, and they'll try and make us feel the same way. I mean, as spiritual believers, I guess we kind of understand the abundance that we have all the time. Just the fact that we're not starving. And if you're starving, friend, I'm sorry to hear about that. But that is getting very, very rare in the world. And if you are starving, or if you've ever really been in that situation of starvation, you'll be thinking of ways out of it. You'll be able to use your guile, use your wiles to actually keep going somehow. And this card says just keep going. It's the Four of Pentacles, so still there's abundance there, you know, but we've come one little step back on that journey to abundance. It's all there though, you know. The camel is really the most important symbol of it being all there. You know, camels are very simple. They don't get involved in money. If no one feeds them, I guess no one feeds them, but they will find water, basically, and that will keep them going, and that will give them the ability to work, basically, in a way that is going to attract kind of good conditions around them, basically. Okay, I'm not saying nature can't do without us. Certainly camels can easily do without us, as can most of nature. But it's that much better if we sort of help it along the way. So just as that petal has fallen, don't worry about what you've lost or what you think you might lose. Just think about what you can actually do with what you've got. And if you've got nothing, think about what you can do with your inner resources, your human resources, that can actually make things turn a corner and actually go forward for you. That's the important thing here. So that is card number 3. No, it's not. It's card number 4. And this brings us to card number 5, friends. And this deck is it's a very crazy deck. Some of the cards are this way round. In fact, the Muses always are. And the Muse is essentially the king of that suit. So here we've got the Muse of Emotions. This is kind of the culmination of the suit of emotions. The one we started with, actually, it represents the Suit of Cups. And the Muse of Emotions is a wonderful card, actually. Now, if you picked all 4, we have been sort of in and out of the Pentacles, and this suit, which represents the Cups, we've been back and forth between the material and the emotional here. But isn't that just the nature of life, friends? You know, let me see. It says in the book about this card, rinsing the shadow. And that's what we need to do, really, to move the shadows away from our lives, or at least from threatening us. You know, there's always going to be shadows. There's always going to be darkness somewhere. Because if there wasn't darkness, how would we know what light was? How would we feel the benefit of the light? Absolutely never. But as the emotions come to a head here, this is a very, very emotional card. And what it's driving us towards, I guess, is a state of meditation. That's where we really need to be, to make use of emotions. You know, people feeling emotional is no bad thing. People always say, oh, don't cry, don't cry. But that's not really natural, is it? You know, people do have those emotions within them. And they're there for a reason, friends. Not just to lead us to better times, not just to feel like darkness, but to give us that ability to heal the darkness within us. That's the second time that theme has actually come up in this reading so far. So there is a lot to be said for healing the dark. And this reading is saying a lot about it. There's a starfish down here. Hope you can actually see this. It's not showing on my screen terribly well, but I think it might be better. And look at these waves. I think it might be better in the uploaded video. That's what I'm saying. But look at these waves, you know. These waves they're very well drawn because they're kind of watery in their flow, but they're also very solid in their black and white colour. And this is the thing, you know, we can't really rise above. Well, I suppose we can rise above emotions, but do we really want to? What we really want to do is transmute what we feel emotional about. And when we do that, when we meditate and really kind of go into that spiritual way of understanding our emotions, then they become much more solid. They become something we can stand on. They become, friends, planks in our platform. That's what they become. So this leads us to card number 5, which is going to be this one. It's emotions again. We are still in what we might call the Suit of Cups, the Suit of Emotions. This is the Ace of Emotions, really. So in terms of emotions, this is the other extreme. You know, we've had the Muse of Emotions, which is the highest card in that suit, representing the king in the regular tarot. If there is such a thing as regular tarot, I don't think I'd be doing tarot if it was all that regular, actually. But here we've got the Ace of Emotions right at the other end of the spectrum. So it's kind of a stretch of the imagination, you know. And there's great creativity in this card. Oh, excuse me, friends. I had to take a quick break for a glass of water there because hiccups are kind of positive with me. It's a sign from my guides that I'm on the right lines. But they do make it very difficult to do readings, do hiccups. So here we go. Ace of Emotions again. And I was talking about creativity, was I not? And in this sense, you know, this is a whole nother level of the emotions. Really, you could see the creativity in your life as like a shore that the sea interacts with. The sea of emotions interacts with the shore of creativity. So right at the beginning of the emotional journey here, the Suit of Cups essentially is the journey we're on here. And I guess it's about making the best of things. I mean, I think that's what people always want to do. And here you're actually invited to explore the depths of the tide of emotions because they do come and go. It's a fact. Some days they're stronger in our hearts than other days. Always the way, you know, it's a natural flow. And just as the tide comes and goes, our emotions come and go. It's part of our inheritance as a natural people living a natural life in a natural world. 3 instances of nature just cropping up there, but that's how it all works. You know, the best things go, well, everything really goes in threes. I say problems come in threes, but everything comes in threes, really. That is the nature of it. And, you know, I'm sure that is why not just in Christianity, but in many other religious traditions that have gone before and after Christianity and creativity. Well, creativity isn't exactly a religion, is it? Maybe it should be. But you get that 3 thing coming up again and again. You know, if you've got 2, it's kind of one thing or another. If you've got a third option, if you've got a third thing going on, it becomes much easier to kind of choose and find the way you're going to go. So this is pointing you, I guess, towards the 3 of Cups, which is another matter altogether and isn't the card I've pulled by any means. But this is how you get to that wonderful upward spiral of the 3 of Cups. It's by understanding that back and forth ebb and flow of the emotions and understanding that that actually is nature and that is actually what life's all about, really. So an incredibly practical card, this, even though it's the Ace of the Emotions, the Cups. Maybe there's been some crying going on if you pick this card. Maybe that's a positive thing. It usually is, one way or another, because after we've come out of that space, especially if we're being creative like this card suggests, we get ever closer to that upward spiral. In fact, that upward spiral then isn't too far away and things start working so much more positively. Wow. Well, I'm glad the glass of water worked and hiccups are gone. But there we go, friends. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I've certainly enjoyed doing it for you. And I will be back with more soon. What happens every time there's a heat wave, my internet goes off. And it tends to go off about 10 in the morning. And it tends to come back on again sometime between midnight and 1 a.m. the following morning. It's off for a real long time. We're about something like the 4th or 5th heat wave we've had in UK this year so far. There is another one building up. It's supposed to start on Saturday. I actually thought that today was going to be an internet-free day, but praise God, it actually isn't internet-free, and we have actually got a connection going on. I know you and I have always got a connection going on, dear viewer, but I just can't upload videos when I haven't got that physical connection going with the internet. I think next week is going to be tricky, really. I'm going to try and upload videos. I'm going to try and make videos and then set them to upload at night if I'm still awake at 1 a.m. when it comes back on. But hey ho, we will get there. This is the nature of Merlin's Mountain, unfortunately. Technology doesn't work too well with it. But then, when you really think about it, how well does technology actually fit into any of our lives, really? It's something that's kind of superimposed on us, something that's kind of forced upon us. But hey, that's a whole nother story, maybe a whole nother video about the spiritual nature of technology. Because yeah, there are a lot of spiritual positives to technology, if only we can kind of assimilate them into our lives in a fairly natural sort of way. And certainly the message of this 5 card, if you picked all 5, has had a lot to do with being creative and with actually assimilating the flow of emotions with the actual hard truths of reality. And it's only really when you get that synergy right that you can move forward, that you can actually make things happen and make concrete progress. And as airy-fairy as it sounds, that, my friends, is what magic is all about, really and truly. So I hope you've enjoyed this one from Merlin's Mountain. Please drop a like on it if you have. Oh, I've got a dirty thumb there. That's ink. I've had to put black ink in my pen because I had to fill a form in. I like green ink, really. That's my favourite. It's kind of, I don't know, just a better colour than black, I think, for pens. But I had to put some black ink in my pen to fill a form in. So I've got it all over my hands, actually. No escape from that one. But yeah, do drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Thanks very, very much for watching. Why not hit the subscribe button, friends? If you haven't already, it would really help me massively. YouTube keeps on stealing my subscribers all the time. Leave me a comment, let me know what cards you picked, and let's share the journey together, because I might not be back immediately tomorrow. I'm going to try, actually, because I like to upload every day if I can, but I'm really, really not sure what's happening with the internet at the moment. But hit the subscribe and I will be back with more videos very, very soon, including lives. It's been a couple of weeks since we did a live. We'll have to get a live session going. So hit that subscribe button and you won't miss it. Meanwhile, friends, thanks again. Take good care of yourselves. Love and light, blessings and peace.